Welcome back to the Glen Alex Show. I am your host, Glen Alex, and this is the Glen Alex Show, the 2023 Positive Change Podcast Award winner in health and wellness and psychology. And each episode of the Glen Alex Show focuses on a different aspect of health because you are a whole and all of you matter. And I am on a mission to help you be joyful, connected, confident, and complete. The life experience I call Wellth, Wellth, which is health plus other riches. And keep in mind that those who are balanced physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually do not intentionally harm self or others. So, if more of us were on this journey to be whole within ourselves, then there would be less violence, less oppression, fewer wars, fewer isms. So, please join us on this journey. And before we jump into today's episode on vision and eyesight, please drop a comment so I will know what's on your mind and subscribe.
Where your health matters, set your mind, let it flow. Joyful, connected, confident, complete. Let Glen Alex help you back on your feet. The Glen Alex Show.
Please help me welcome my guest, Dr. Kevin Hong. Dr. Kevin Hong is an optometrist and clinical programs lead at VisionWorks, who helps people better understand the connection between eye health, healthy aging, and overall wellness. With experience spanning private practice, telehealth, and clinical leadership, he is passionate about preventive eye care, helping people build simple daily habits that support long-term vision and quality of life, and how healthy vision is an important part of overall well-being. Dr. Hong, welcome to the Glen Alex Show.
Thank you, Glenn. That was a wonderful introduction. I appreciate that.
You are very welcome. Thank you for your work and for making time to be here because, the Glen Alex Show focuses on different aspects of health because I believe in the whole person. And when I read your profile about your work in vision, I said we have to connect because that is an under-discussed topic for me. So before we get into the meat of things, just give us an overview of what led you to this work.
Well, I've been, and again, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here to join you and speak to you and your audience. But, I've been doing, as you mentioned before, I've been in different roles, in the eye care world. But yeah, where I started was when I was 8 years old. My first pair of glasses, as I'm sure many of us have had that experience of like just not seeing clearly and not knowing. And then all of a sudden you go to this doctor and he fixes everything for you. So that moment clarity was really my first wow moment.
Okay, excellent, excellent. And how long have you been an optometrist?
Oh boy. At this point, I've been in practice for about 13 years now. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Very good. Very good. Now, there's a lot to cover, and I'll do my best to pace myself so it makes sense to me and the audience. Uh, Tell us why eyesight and vision health is important for overall health.
Well, I mean, like I said, the first thing you think about when you think about eyesight is clarity of vision, right?
Hmm.
That's what gets us going into the office. But it is kind of a window into your overall health as well, too. So the biggest thing there is looking at the back of the eye. We take a look at different parts there, and there are about 270 different systemic conditions that are kind of connected to that back of the eye. So we can tell a lot, and we like to partner with different your primary care specialist, or a number of different specialists out there, if additional care is required.
Wow, I had no idea. 270 different conditions can be detected in the eye.
Yeah, I mean, some of the big ones would be like
Wow.
hypertension, diabetes, certain types of cancers. But yeah, a lot of systemic conditions do connect with signs that we can see in the eye.
Okay, okay. And so you recommend an annual exam uh, just for maintenance or more frequent exams?
Typically, that baseline is that annual eye examination, right? There's a lot of, I guess, more silent conditions that can be detected in that way. But yeah, typically annually. Now, if we do find certain conditions there, that follow-up schedule may be a little bit more frequent.
Okay, okay. Well, talk to us about uh, the impact that technology has on eyesight.
Well, I mean, we use our eyes completely differently than even several decades ago now. We with technology, the primary way we're interacting with it is screens.
Mhm.
And that proximity is kind of the biggest piece there. And we can get into it a little bit later, but there's a lot of different parts of the physiology where we are focusing a lot more, putting a lot more effort into using our eyes in that way.
Well, let's get into it now. What are those parts?
Um, well, when we're looking at something that's far away, that's when our eyes are most relaxed. The closer we bring something, whether it's reading on a phone, whether it's reading even on paper,
Mm,
right? The closer we
okay,
bring something, the more those accommodative muscles have to squeeze together.
okay. So, like this is a problem?
Exactly. And I'm stealing this from another optometrist colleague of mine, but anytime a patient would come in with their smartphone into the exam lane, she would look down at their right here. She would say, "What's that?" And the patient would be like, "Oh, that's my elbow." And she's like, "That's right. It's an elbow. Keep it an L. Don't make it a V. Make sure those screens are a little bit further away from you." And that's kind of
Okay,
just stuck with me. But yeah, the closer we bring them, those devices, the harder it is on our eyes. They're just those muscles are the accommodative muscles are squeezing together. And again, when we look far away, that's how we relax our eyes a little bit more.
okay. Very interesting. Wow. Okay. And so what is computer vision syndrome?
Sure, it's a combination of different things, and it's not just at the computer. It's a number of different symptoms like dryness, like tiredness, like fatigue, and these can all be exacerbated by kind of our work conditions if we're adults, or even like study conditions if or our patients are a little bit younger. If we're thinking about our kids, right? That proximity, the screens, they can kind of cause some of that fatigue, the symptoms of fatigue a little bit earlier for us. So we do see this clinically in the exam lane more frequently
Okay.
nowadays.
Is there another factor in how vision is impacted by technology? In addition to the closeness of it, is there something about the lighting of a device or the binary codes? Is How does that impact the eye as well?
Well, I mean, just that illumination that we get from screens, that can be kind of taxing on the eyes. That's why a lot of times we do recommend to our patients, hey, if you're using your iPhone, your Android, or your computer, there is that night shift feature that kind of moves things a little bit more from that blue light into something a little bit warmer, a little bit more comfortable for the eyes. And I do recommend that in addition to your audience or may have heard of some of those blue light lenses as well too, and they do kind of the same thing or
Okay.
similar things. Yeah.
Okay, that's doesn't sound like it would be your first choice though to have the blue light lenses.
No, I do advocate for them again, especially if a patient is symptomatic. If it does make them more comfortable, a lot of times a patient may have if you wear glasses all the time, right, and you come into my office and say, "Hey, I am noticing that fatigue." We may optimize that prescription a little bit more for
Okay.
that given distance, and then that blue light filtering part of it does make things subjectively a little bit more comfortable. You can work a little bit longer, work a little bit more without feeling that fatigue as easily.
Okay. Okay. And is are some of the symptoms of the computer vision syndrome related to digital drain, or is that a little deeper into problems with technology?
I mean, what I can say about that is the what we were speaking to, kind of some of the techniques of reducing that blue light with glasses, with software settings, right? That's about
Mhm.
half of the equation. The other half
Okay.
is kind of trying to change our habits as well, too. Earlier in our combination, in our conversation, I said, looking far away, that's how we relax our eyes. So
Hmm.
the other thing that I tell my patients is try to exercise the 20-20-20 rule. Every 20 minutes, take about 20 seconds to like, take a look at something that's 20 feet or further away. That'll help you catch up on blinks and relax your eyes a little bit more too.
Okay, yeah, I was going to ask you about the 2020 rule because in my research I came across that, and I'm wondering how I can implement that in teletherapy. Yeah, it might be a little rude to away from the client periodically, right?
Yeah,
So,
and to be honest, I mean that's not something that we can probably do consistently all the time, right? But
okay,
whenever we can, implementing any amount of relaxing those eye muscles, letting them just stretch a little bit instead of holding on to that tightness all the time is good, right? So whenever you can implement it, whenever you're not in direct clinical care, whenever you're not in like a long session in front of the computer, that is highly recommended.
okay, okay. And what is tell us about conscious blinking.
Yeah. Whenever we are focusing on something, and again, I don't want to say that it's just in the computer, but that holds our attention so well. Things that we're
Mhm.
scrolling through on a feed holds our attention so well that our blink rate tends to go down just a little bit more. So we start to experience some of those symptoms of dryness. So yeah, when patients come in, we discuss that as well too, in terms of modifying behaviors for dry eye therapy in addition to, pharmacological treatments or eye drops.
Okay, okay. Another tip I came across was about the placement of your screen. It said 4 to 5 inches below eye level.
Yes. So that's going to be just a little bit more ergonomic in terms
Okay,
of uh, uh, computer is one thing. Yes, that's going to be ideal. But if we're at our laptop, we're going to be kind of craning our neck down just a little bit more. The most extreme example would be the smartphone. If you're holding it way down low, you're again, it's just not going to be as comfortable. And it's not a big deal if it's just for a few minutes here and there, but these are positions that we're adopting for 8+ hours a day if we're in an office environment.
okay. So is it recommended that is say if I have my device uh 4 to 5 inches below my eye level and I look down rather than bend my neck, is
Yeah,
that feasible?
that is highly recommended, and even particularly in my field, as we get into glasses that have multiple prescriptions in there, that's how we recommend our patients use those as well too. Because the prescription, if we're talking about like a multifocal lens, that prescription's graduated. We want our patients to use their eye motions to kind of follow down
Okay.
instead of like turning your head down.
Okay. Yeah, I had a pair of progressive glasses once and I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. So,
That's not the only technology. We have multifocal contact lenses that patients love,
okay.
and they swear by because there's not as much of that. Hey, where's my sweet spot, right? That whole lens just kind of works automatically. There is a little bit of a learning curve, absolutely, and
Okay.
that's why your optometrist is there to help you through it. But yeah, there's different solutions for everyone.
Oh, wow, that's interesting. How long has that been around, the multifocal contact lenses?
Um, it's been around for as long as I've been practicing. I know
Oh, okay.
before multifocals came out, the way of correcting was, hey, we can either correct your distance vision with contact lenses, and then you put on a pair of reading glasses when you need to, or there were some individuals that did monovision, and some people still do it nowadays. It's one eye for distance, and then one eye for near intermediate
Okay.
distances. Yeah.
Okay. I'm thinking of how confused I would be.
And again, we work through it with patients. We always go through like a test run to kind of fine tune things until we find that perfect solution.
Okay. Okay. Now, um, we talked you talked about how the eyes can reveal 270 systemic conditions in the body. Is that related to iridology?
Iridology, I am not nearly as familiar with
Okay.
that particular field, so I can't speak specifically to that.
Okay, yeah, I just came across that years ago where non-medical people would look
Uh,
at your eyes and tell you what was wrong. So I didn't really give it much credibility. And
I can't speculate as to that. I mean, there are conditions that involve the iris, but I think that would be more kind of localized to that particular tissue. I mean, speaking to that, there are inflammatory conditions that can be connected to the iris, um,
okay,
but I'm not
okay,
sure if that's what they
okay,
were going to specifically.
okay. Thank you for giving it a shot. Now, for me, like a little more technical information is nagging at me. So, for example, what how would the high blood pressure show up in the eye versus diabetes? What would be the actual thing you see?
So a lot of that is going to be on those either the dilated examination or retinal images that we take. And we're
Okay.
specifically looking at blood vessels. We're looking at the overall caliber of blood vessels. We're looking, in the case of diabetes, a lot of times we're looking at potential bleeds in the back of the eye as well
Okay.
too. So
Okay.
any of those anomalous findings, trigger us to say, hey, we should contact your primary care physician, or if you don't have one, we can find you one. Yeah.
Okay. Great. Great. Now, it's summertime. I'm a sunglasses girl. A lot of people walk around without sunglasses, and it just kind of confuses me, especially tennis players, tennis players. So, give us some guidance on sunglasses.
Well, I mean, the biggest things to protect from are going to be the UVA and the UVB. And we already know our skin burns, right?
Yeah.
We try to protect that as much as possible. But we don't think about, a lot of times we forget about those ocular tissues, right? So the primary way of protecting would be through a pair of sunglasses that provide protection from UVA and UVB. There are some merits of being outside for maybe 20 minutes or so. Like a lot of times you hear like first thing in the morning, try to get some natural light, right?
Mhm.
You can get some of that without sunglasses, but under direct sunlight, you could burn that tissue as well too.
Okay. So, should we look for polarized glasses, the prisms, whatever those different varieties are?
So the most important ones, if you're looking for the protective properties, are going to be the UVA, UVB protection. Polarization is another kind of add-on. That's really more for if you are light sensitive, the way that you perceive light, if you're uncomfortable with it. Um, when light bounces off of different surfaces, you get those polarized lenses. It
Okay.
eliminates that glare for you entirely. And there's different shades as well too. How dark or light sunglasses are don't necessarily dictate how much UVA, UVB they block. So again, a lot of
Okay.
that is for comfort, or even sometimes for style, depending on what you want to
Okay.
match your outfit with. Yeah.
Okay. And what's your take on those what do they call those glasses that automatically become sunglasses when you get outside?
Yeah, the transition lenses.
Transition glasses. What's your
That's
take
one of
on
the
those?
marketing. The general term for that is photochromic lenses,
Okay.
but they are reactive to in most cases UVA, UVB. Some are reactive to any type of light source. Those are the ones that are a little bit more sensitive for those that are extra light sensitive. I think they're fantastic. They're very versatile. They allow you to have one pair that kind of, in quotes, does everything. But I would say that the choice in frames matters as well too. Typically, sunglasses are a little bit larger and provide more coverage,
Okay.
whereas regular ophthalmic style lenses or frames are just a little bit smaller. So I would also be mindful of getting full coverage with those as well too.
Okay. And do the transition glasses, they don't work in all climates, do they? Because at one point, when I was in Vegas, I looked into transition glasses and I was told it's too hot. It's
Yeah.
not gonna, they're not gonna work there.
Good call. They do work in it's a pretty wide range of temperatures they work at, but extreme temperatures, extreme hot, extreme cold, they can kind of slow down a little bit, both in the rate that they get darker and
Okay.
the rate that they return back to being, clear colored.
Okay. Okay.
So activation
Excellent.
time is a big thing there. Yeah.
I'll say that again.
The activation time is the big thing there. But that is specifically the color, right? If that lens is UVA, UVB protective, it retains all of that protective property even when it is completely clear.
Okay. So UVA and UVB, no matter what. And then you
It
can
should be
do the
protective.
add-ons.
Even if that lens is completely clear, it'll protect you from that. It might not be as comfortable, if you're staring right at the sun or anything. But yeah,
Well, don't do that.
don't do that. Then you'll be coming to see me. Yeah.
Okay. Now, other than the tips you gave earlier about the 20-20-20 rule, the conscious blinking, and screen placement, what other lifestyle choices would you like people to make to promote eye health?
Um, as it relates with technology, one of the bigger ones is I've always said that proximity is kind of the culprit here in terms of creating a lot of that eye strain. So, a smartphone is worse for you than a laptop, which is worse
Okay.
for you than like a dedicated large display, right?
Okay.
So yeah, get the biggest display you can if you're working in front of a computer all day. Move that as far from you as you can. And then just take breaks, make sure that you have some time away from the screen if you're able to kind of break your day up, if you have that flexibility. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Great. What about non-technical lifestyle choices?
Uh, the biggest one would be making sure that we are in for annual eye examinations. I mean, as we talked about before, there are so many different conditions that can be uncovered by that. So many things that we may not necessarily be aware of. Again, whether they're directly related to the eye or if they are systemic conditions.
Okay. Okay. I know for me, sometimes my sleep can be inconsistent because of my GI issues. And I notice on the days following the nights when I have poor sleep, that my vision is a little blurry in the morning. Is that something you can speak to?
It could be a lot of different things. The thing that comes to mind that I've seen in the past when patients say they wake up with slightly blurry vision, and again, this might be something to talk to your local optometrist about. But for certain patients, especially if they're sleeping poorly, they may not be completely closing their eyes when they sleep. They may be partially open, and that can cause a little bit of desiccation, dryness overnight. And that's
Okay.
kind of a subset of like different types of dryness that patients may be experiencing. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the next time that happens, if it happens again, then I'll do the conscious blinking and see if that'll clear it up faster. Wow, that's fascinating.
And there's
Okay.
there's a bunch of products that are over the counter that I typically would recommend. And again, it depends on what type of dry eye that that patient is experiencing, whether it's not having enough tears, whether that's drying up a little bit too quickly, or even the quality of the tears. So there's a lot of nuances. So when we say dry eye, it's not just one thing; it's a multitude of different etiologies. Or
Okay. Okay, fantastic. Now you provide s- services virtually.
that's right.
How
Yes.
does that work? So if I wanted to schedule an appointment with you, how would you be able to look into my eyes?
This was relatively new to me several years back too, because I started my career providing services in person over in Chicago. But over these past couple of years, when a patient does come in for a telehealth appointment, they do. If you were the patient, you would go into the office. You would
Okay.
get all your pre-assessment done there. A lot of images, a lot of
Okay.
video.
Okay.
I would review that remotely. Your typical one or two, which is better when we're going refining your prescription for your vision. That is done remotely, live.
Okay.
I do
Okay.
have control over that at the local office remotely. Yeah.
Wow, that also is fascinating. Oh my goodness, this has been really enlightening, and I have definitely learned some things, and I'm going to schedule my next exam when we're done.
I'm
Thank
I'm
you.
glad I'm glad to hear that. I hope your audience takes something away from that as well too.
Hopefully, I'm definitely going to push for that. Now, are there any specials or that you want to offer the audience or
There's
through?
it changes. It varies so much by
Okay,
region, and it varies so much by so many people have insurance when it comes to vision care as well too. So I can't
okay,
speak specifically
okay,
to anything there.
okay. Now, could someone request an appointment with you specifically, or does it have to be within a certain region?
I am well, I'm based in Chicago, but yeah, I also support our New York market,
Okay,
Wisconsin, Missouri, and Nebraska. Yeah. But
okay,
if it's through VisionWorks, the easiest way is visionworks.com, and you'll find all of the information there.
okay. Excellent, excellent. Okay. Well, Dr. Hong, this has been fascinating. I thank you so much for, again, making time and enlightening me. And before we go, what is the one nugget or one takeaway you want the audience to have?
Just that, you know, uh, in terms of vision care, it's we think so much about, hey, how do I get that 20/20 vision? And then that's just the smallest piece of it. That's just the very, very start of it. And your optometrist can see so much inside of your eye, that there's just so much insight that we can have there, especially with so many of the new technologies that we have. We spoke a little bit about the telehealth examinations.
Hmm?
The key component there is the retinal imaging that we get, and
Okay.
that tells us so much about overall systemic health. I think it's very, very valuable, and I hope more people can take advantage of that.
Okay, I agree. I absolutely agree. Thank you again for being here. I deeply appreciate it and your work.
Well, I appreciate your time and the opportunity to speak with you. I loved your questions. This is very much like the questions that I get, on a daily basis when I'm in clinical care. So, thank you.
Okay. Oh, very good. Very good. Thank you. Thank you again for tuning into this episode of the Glen Alex Show. We really hope you learned how important eye health is to overall health, and will take steps to ensure that your vision and eyesight are as healthy as possible. Please like, subscribe, and share this episode.
Refresh your spirit with a nourishing thought.
Please allow me to leave you with this nourishing thought. Author and strategist Wayne Teresa said, eyesight is silent until it's urgent. Prioritize prevention before vision becomes a memory. Conversations about health tend to only focus on weight and appearance, much to my dismay. My work is about total health and the whole person, which includes physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well being. However, one aspect of physical health that I think needs more attention is eyesight. Being able to see and see clearly is not only life enhancing, it is preventative. Some say that the eyes are windows to the soul. I say that the eyes are windows into the body, into what's happening inside the body. You see, weight and appearance are poor indicators of what is going on inside your body. And your eyes can reveal early signs of other medical conditions, including diabetes, high blood pressure, brain tumors, and even some cancers. So, the sooner these medical conditions are detected, then you will have better treatment options available to you. So, just as I highly recommend regular physical exams, I also recommend regular eye exams for your eye health, for your overall health, to see clearly and to live fully. To learn more about vision and total health, Please visit glenalex.com, order your signed copies of my books, Living Boundaries and Living in Total Health, and book your complimentary consultation with me to discuss your wholeness. Then tune in to the next episode of The Glen Alex Show. And until next time, be well.